Okay, so I made a guide out of sheet metal strip, one of the pieces that similar to what I patched the corners with, and the holes are roughly 4 inches apart. I drilled 1/4 inch holes, and drilling through with a 1/4 inch bolt, the guide is held top and bottom. So those are the bottom and the top are the easiest to get a bolt pushed through from the inside out. Much easier to drill from the outside in, but you don't know where you're drilling. So this guide is to help figure out where to put the holes, make things symmetric, make it look nice when it's done. So what I'm going to do is I'll use a little nut here to hold the guide on, and then I'll make the marks through the holes, and then I'll drill the holes after I take the guide back off, and it should work well. Okay, so after drilling a few holes from the outside, this is the guide bolt here. You can see there's that hole there, came through at the right spot, that one as well, and so on. They're actually finding the right part of the hat channel from the outside. So that guide strip's working pretty well. Still got a few more to drill for that, but yeah, this is going to be quite the process getting these skins put on. Lots of work. Okay, so you can see that the holes were drilled from the outside in for that hat channel, for that side of that hat channel. I've got to think about whether I'm probably not going to do both sides of every hat channel. I have to think about that. Or maybe I will. I don't know. It's a lot of rivets. I think now I'm going to put the holes in at the bottom for those 1/4 inch rivets along this edge right here using the same guide. But that I don't have to be as particular about because there's good metal on that lip all the way down and it's fairly wide. Alright, so I used the guide and drilled holes along the bottom all the way across. Up top will be easy because there's already a lot of rivet holes that I need to fill back in, and they're just a little bit smaller than 1/4, so just pushing that in will guide the drill. So that's what I'll be doing next. Okay, so back at the bus here, I'm going to drill these top holes. I've got a 1/4 inch carriage bolt. It's about 2.5 inches long. Push through the first hole. I'm going to use that to kind of snug this roof edge in tighter against the sheet metal since it was bowing out. And then after that, the holes should be easier to line up properly so that when we do the final fastening of this sheet that the holes are properly drilled. So that's what I'm at right now, or that's what I'm doing right now. Alright, so I drilled from the outside to widen the holes to 1/4 on that edge of the roof. I got that done, and now using the spring clamps here to hold the sheet metal in place, I'm drilling from the inside out. And the reason I'm doing it from both directions is because these holes originally made it up. All I'm trying to do is widen them and get through the sheet metal. So this way I won't actually mess up any holes. They should line up and be able to be riveted. Just if they're widened from both sides, they should line up perfectly is what I'm trying to say. So anyhow, I'm going to keep at it, drilling holes down this top. I will caution you with the roof raise that the sheet metal work is going to take a lot of time to do correctly. It's exceeding my expectations of how much time it's going to take. So, you know, I might be at this till June, but at this rate. So anyhow, all right, so it's coming along pretty quick using these spring clamps to hold the sheet metal. Okay, so I've started riveting. Well, not riveting yet, but I'm caulking to rivet. Just going to do this top row of rivets, and then I'll finish the drilling. I just want to get some rivets in so that as I drill down, the holes are aligned nicely. So hopefully that'll be the case. I'm trying to leave enough flex to get the caulk in behind. As you can see, where I know it's going to tighten up, I'm putting some caulk in the uprights to kind of seal that. So I've got lots of Sikaflex, about 200 bucks worth, 25 tubes. I got it from a company called EMI Supply, I believe is the name. It was the best price I could find online. So anyhow, that is what I'm doing here. Starting to caulk, and then I'll get the pneumatic riveter and put a row of 1/4-inch rivets with a 1/4-inch. Most of them will have a 1/4-inch grip, except for where the layers are extra thick, like back there on the corner. They're going to have to be 1/2-inch grip rivets. So get at it here. Okay, so I'll be taking that pneumatic riveter on the ground, or pneumatic riveter on the ground, and riveting those in. I've got caulk underneath. You might be able to see it in the picture, but I'm going to start that second rib over because it's already kind of close due to a rivet I didn't remove, actually making it easier. So anyhow, I'll go one by one down the row. I'm going to dab a little caulk on each rivet as I set it so that the outside of the head will get sealed on the outside a little bit by the caulk. Alright, so I'm almost done riveting the top. Quite a lot of caulk mess squeezing out, but a quick wire brushing will fix that before we paint. I should have probably got sealed rivets. You can see through the centers on some of them. So I'm going to have to fill them with caulk on the inside and seal them up. But anyway, almost done with the top. Alright, so I riveted a line I had already drilled. I think I'll be able to get caulk behind everything if I do one line up and down at a time. You can also actually kind of caulk through the holes that are drilled. If you squeeze enough caulk in, it'll kind of start spreading. So I think they'll be sealed up pretty good. Alright, so I've got the line there done. I've got the top done. Right now what I'm doing is drilling the next vertical line. Right there you see a hole on the side of the hat channel. I'm going to rivet the middle and do that on every hat channel, then drill the rest of the holes. And that ought to give me the right spacing so it doesn't look like it's wavy. Alright, so getting caulk all over my phone from my hands. But I've got the sheet riveted almost all the way around the perimeter. Got some in the middle. I'll start finishing the vertical 1/4-inch rivets. And then there will be 2 rows of 3/16 sort of in the middle of the sheet going horizontal. Okay, so I've got rivets, 1/4-inch rivets all the way around. Got them caulked in pretty good. Got the top done. Over here, I had to remove some rivets after the caulk was already in by drilling them out. That was interesting. As you can see, I made a lot of mess with the caulk. Good thing it won't be seen. Then I've got this row, and then all the way at the bottom across. I still have to get the rivets in the middle. This is pretty tedious trying to do this and make sure everything is good and caulked at the same time. It would be a lot easier if you could just drill from outside, pop the rivets in, and not worry about making them watertight. But yeah, it's a process.